Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video from the Kentucky bunker. This is a special video that's going to go out to Catholics and Christians and actually people of faith, generally speaking, but especially to Catholics. Because for one reason, I'm a Catholic. And so everything I'm about to say, I have every right to say, because not only am I a Catholic, but I'm a very knowledgeable Catholic and well-studied Catholic. I taught Catholic apologetics classes at parishes, and I know my Catholic faith, buddy. So everything I'm about to say is going to be blunt, truthful, maybe a little ugly, maybe a little undiplomatic, but it's the truth, and you all need to hear it. Now, half of you are going to agree with what I'm about to say, and the other half are not. For those of you who do not, for you Catholics who do not agree with what I'm about to say, again, here comes the blunt talk. You better wake up. You better wake up, because you're dead wrong, and you are currently on the side of evil. No Catholic can embrace evil and support evil and actually be a real Catholic. Okay, sure, you're a baptized Catholic, and once you're baptized, we all learn that it's an indelible, the sacrament is, you're baptized for life, for eternity, and that's true, but still, Adolf Hitler was a baptized Catholic, so there you go. Need I say more? So look, here's the truth. The Democrat Party of John F. Kennedy and Harry Truman and Lyndon Johnson is dead and buried. That party no longer exists. The Democrat Party that many of the first Catholics came to America embraced is dead and buried and no longer exists. Now, there were some historic reasons why the first Catholics who sort of emigrated, well, they weren't the first Catholics, but the big load of Catholics who emigrated to America at the beginning of the 20th century came to Ellis Island in New York, coming from Ireland and Poland and Italy and stuff like that. They were very poor, and they were immediately shuffled into ghettos, and they were in ghettos. And they were very poor, and they were prejudiced against, and that's one of the reasons they started their own schools. The Democrat Party was their friend. The Democrat Party was the friend of the working class and the poor. And there's some historic reasons why those Catholics back then, flocked to the Democrat Party. And that isn't all that long ago. So we're only a couple of generations removed from that. So, there's a little bit of understanding why, you got just staunch Democrat, among some old school Catholics. Well, I'm sorry, that is all over with. The world has changed, and most especially the nation has changed. And the Democrat Party is not the Democrat Party that it was back then. The Democrat Party, for all intents and purposes back then, is dead and gone. It does no longer exist. The current sick, filthy, evil party, the party of abortion, the party of gay marriage, the party of transgenders, okay, the party of child mutilation in the name of transgenderism, the party of groomers who are sexualizing children in schools, the party of open borders, massive taxes, everything that is evil. That party has usurped what was once the Democrat Party. It has usurped the name Democrat Party. But there ain't nothing Democrat about it. Today's Democrat Party is a party of evil. Now, listen, you're a Catholic, you call yourself a Catholic. What do you think the three greatest evils and sins are in the Bible? What do you think? Now, all sin is bad, and we understand that. but some sin is worse than others, and we understand that too. There's mortal sin and there's venial sin. What do you think are the three greatest evils and sins in the Bible? I'll tell you what I think they are. Murder. That's that kind of that's a sort of a top one. Hurting and harming children, leading children into sin, causing children to sin. Jesus, man, Jesus said it pretty plain and clear. If any of you cause one of these little ones to sin, it will be better for you that you have a millstone thrown around your neck and you be thrown into the sea, better than what's going to happen to you on Judgment Day. You better believe that. And then, of course, number three is sexual sins, and specifically sodomy. I mean, we all know God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for a reason. And we all know what sodomy is, and I don't need to explain it. Okay? So sodomy and that sort of sick, filthy, degenerate sexual sins, murder and children, and hurting children, and murdering children. These are the biggest evils in the Bible. And your Democrat Party today supports and defends all of those things. Yes, we all know that they support abortion, and the abortion is the murder of an innocent human being. That's a scientific fact. Okay, I mean, science. You know, they talk about being the party of science. Well, DNA science proves that the baby in the womb is not only a human being, which is pretty obvious, but it's a separate person, right? The DNA is not an exact match. It's not like if you took a DNA sample off of a woman's arm or her saliva or hair, right? You'd get a match for the woman. You take a DNA sample off the baby in the womb, not a match. That's because it's a separate person. So when you kill a baby in the womb, you're killing a unique human being. That's a violation of the most fundamental human rights. And as I said a minute ago, one of the most grievous evils in the Bible. And that we all know, I don't have to prove it. Please don't tell me I have to prove it, that the Democrats support and defend abortion, and they want to keep it legal. Donald Trump helped get rid of it, but that's another video for another day. So that's one. Number two, sodomy, gay marriage. Need I say more? Don't make me go into the details. Okay, with these gay marriage, it's not even, I hate even using that word because there's no such thing. It's a non sequitur. All right, marriage is the union of a man and a woman, the sacrament of marriage. So men who think they are married, we know what sort of activities they engage in. They engage in sodomy. Who is the big defender of gay marriage? It's the Democrat Party, not the Republican. Once again, the Democrats. The Democrats promote sodomy. You can call it, you can come up with all the nifty, fancy names that you want to call it, and love and pride. Pride in what? Pride in sodomy? That one, I can't even wrap my head around the whole pride. I don't understand how that word even comes into play. But pride and love and tolerance and blah, blah. No, it's sodomy, anal sex and other sodomy. So that's what they support. So the Democrats support the murder and the murder of children through abortion. They support sodomy vis-a-vis gay marriage. What was the other one I said? Hurting children. Hurting children. Joe Biden, I'm going to put a link to this. I'm going to put what I'm about to tell you. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video if you don't believe me, because here it is. Joe Biden and the Democrats and a lot of liberals, they support the mutilation. I can't even believe I'm saying this. The mutilation of children's genitals and bodies in the name of transgenderism. And the parent, don't even make me, any parent who indulges and enables a child in this, they should be in prison for life. Your kid comes to you, oh, maybe your kid is like 6 years old, 7 years old. Oh, I think I'm a boy. Oh, I think I'm a girl. You know, kids are on one thing, and then a few weeks later, they're on another thing. And then you're going to mutilate. Now they call it, the Democrats call it gender affirmation surgery. So you're going to do surgery on the body to affirm what the child believes in their head about their gender. Yes, Joe Biden supports it. The Catholic Joe Biden supports this. And you will find a link to it in the description of this video, but I shouldn't even have to link to it because it's all over the news. Democrats support what they call gender affirmation surgery on children, not adults, children. Don't you dare lead one of these little ones into sin. Not only are they doing that, but yes, they are grooming in schools. And if you don't understand that Democrats are grooming in schools, then you don't understand. Apparently, you don't know what's going on in schools, but more than that, you don't understand what grooming actually means. Okay, grooming means to constantly expose children to something. You keep exposing them, you keep exposing them, you keep exposing them. And then by the time they grow up, they're fully understanding and probably fully accepting of a specific thing, right? So you got homosexuals and transgender teachers in schools who are constantly talking, and this is what the grooming is they're talking to them. They're exposing them. They're telling them about their personal lives, and they're telling them about being a transgender. Tell them about, oh, that's the grooming. So that way, when the kid grows up, he's totally cool with the whole thing, and he has been groomed. He has been removed from the faith of your family. If you're a Christian, or if you're a Muslim, or if you're a Orthodox Jew, and you're trying to teach your kid one thing about your faith, meanwhile, the school is pushing them into the exact opposite. That's the grooming. So again, this is what the Democrats promote. So let me get back to the subject. Catholics, you cannot vote for a Democrat. You can't. You can't. The Democrat Party promotes what we consider to be evil. Evil. Now, let me tell you something. You go to Mass every Sunday, and you stand up at Mass in church, and you say, I believe in God, the Father Almighty. I believe in Jesus Christ, the Lord, the giver of life. I believe in the Holy Spirit. And you stand up there and you say, I believe in the Catholic Church, one baptism for the forgiveness of sins, the life of the world to come. You say that every Sunday. But if you vote for a Democrat, then you don't mean a word of it. You cannot support this evil. You cannot support what the church does teach and has always taught is evil. Sodomy, the murder of children, the sexualization of children. And again, I tell you this, if you don't realize that the Democrat Party is promoting all these things, then you're lost. You have no clue what's going on in this country. It's all over the news, or it's all over real news. If you come home, you know, if you're one of those people who are very busy and you work all day and you don't have time for news or anything, and maybe you catch a half hour of fake news, then like maybe your entire news intake is like a half hour of CNN every day, and that's the extent of your news, then you don't know what's going on in America. You have no clue. I'm going to put a few links in the description of this video. But my message to you, my fellow Catholics, You cannot vote for a Democrat. You just can't. You just can't. Those days are over. Maybe you could 30 years ago or 40 years ago, or maybe even 20 years ago. Maybe. No, not really 20 years ago. Maybe 30 years ago you could. Not now. The Democrats officially promote and defend that which we call evil. The murder of innocent children, abortion, sodomy, gay marriage, mutilating children, mutilating their genitals in the name of this fake, phony junk science transgenderism, sexualizing children in schools, these filthy, sick, purple-haired, degenerate, sick teachers teaching your kids about being a homosexual and being a transgender. Boy, I saw a video the other day of this great black pastor. I wish I could remember what his name is. I'm going to put a link to that in this description too. This black guy, I guess it doesn't matter if he's black. I don't know why I said, but he's this pastor. He's an African-American pastor. He got up in front of a school board and ripped them to shreds, and God bless that man. God, I wish he was a Catholic. God bless that man. He started reading from some filthy, sick book that was in the children's library. And it was so sick and filthy that the board, the school board, right? They're saying, stop, you have to be quiet, stop. You can't use that kind of language here. And he goes, oh, was it something I said? So this language is too bad to say in public, but it's in this filthy pornographic books that you're making children read. There was a mother who got up who was horribly distraught because the teacher had forced her 15-year-old daughter to memorize some sort of sexual play or sort of a short play or something like that, and then get out and act it out in front of the class. I'm telling you, folks, you have no idea the evil that is happening in public schools promoted by Democrats. You can bet your bottom dollar none of these fools are Republicans that are doing this stuff. I sure would like to know what sort of school district hires these sick, degenerate. You got some sick, filthy degenerate who walks in with purple hair, nose rings, tattoos all over their face, and then you hire them to be a teacher? What sort of human resources the department do local schools have? I have no idea. But anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up. But listen to me, my fellow Catholics. You cannot vote. You cannot vote Democrat anymore. You just can't. You just can't. They are literally the party of evil. Evil. Do you even understand? You know what? I went to confession yesterday. Today is Sunday. Yesterday on Saturday, I went to confession. And I actually went to another parish, not my usual parish, but I went to another parish. And I was the only person there. I was the only person there. The priest sat there. He was sitting there waiting for people. Nobody in his parish showed up for confession. Yeah, Catholics, you need to wake the hell up, man. Because not only is the Democrat Party evil, but I tell you what, the fact that a lot of Catholics don't even bother to go to confession anymore, that tells me that you don't really realize what sin is anymore. Do you confess your sins? Okay, this is a whole other topic. I need to save this for another video. But when I had to really think about that when I saw nobody is here for confession. Yeah, I always thought that the Blessed Virgin Mary and Jesus were the only ones who were born without sin. I just found a whole parish that was born without sin. No, none of them are sinners. Nobody goes to confession. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong in the brains of modern Catholics, man. So, and bishops too. I'm going to say one more thing. This video is going too long, but I'm going to say one more thing. We got some bad bishops. I love the Catholic Church and I believe in the Catholic Church. I believe in apostolic succession, and I believe the whole ball of wax. But let me tell you something. Let me remind you of something in the Bible. There was a part in the New Testament where Jesus is talking about the Pharisees, and then he tells the people, he says, do what they say, for they sit in the seat of Moses. Then he says, do what they say, but don't do what they do, because they say, but they don't do. You know, in other words, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. They do a lot of blah, 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 blah about what you're supposed to do, right? But they are not good people. I believe that right now in the Catholic Church, we are in a similar time where the church, you know, the old covenant was still in effect when Jesus was, you know, walking around and talking to people. You know, the Pharisees and the old covenant and the high priest, that stuff was still in effect for a few more days until Jesus went to the cross. But prior to going to the cross, that stuff was still valid, right? And so I think we're in a similar time today with the Catholic Church where our bishops are corrupt. Many bishops are corrupt. They're Democrats. They're not speaking about sin. They're not telling you need to go to confession. They're not speaking out against gay marriage. They're not speaking out against the sexual sins. They're not doing any of that stuff. In fact, there are German bishops who are embracing gay. They're literally embracing evil. So we have corrupt bishops, man, and there's a day of reckoning is coming. You know, when the Pharisees and the high priests were corrupt in Jesus's time, the end was nigh for them. It was only a couple of weeks later that their whole house of cards came tumbling down. And that may be the case for us, because we, you know, when you have bishops who won't speak about sin and who embrace sin, you got problems. So I still believe the Catholic Church is the true church of Christ, but something's going to happen because we have too many evil people and too many people embracing evil. And I'm telling you, as a fellow Catholic who loves you and sits next to you in church, do not embrace evil. Do not vote for Democrats. You just can't do it. Not anymore. You just can't do it. So look at the description of this video. There's a few links you're going to want to see. And please like and share my videos. Please visit my website. My videos ain't nothing fancy. Nothing fancy here, folks. But I don't make any money off them or anything. I just try to tell the truth, and I hope you will like and share them. So have a great Sunday, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.